1985. Alright, this is cool. You can see the car, you can get an idea of size. People up there chopping away at the hedges. Little dogs. Real interesting that the different places that people live. Deserts, mountains. Obviously the plains, but wherever you can set up, that's what you do. That was quite profound, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, the Micra and myself ended up taking a route which I guess is considered the long way. We're not sure whether we're going to get back or not, or at what time. A few people gave us directions. The thing that I found interesting with directions right now is that people will give you directions here, and they're more than happy, and they tell you, and they rattle off names and everything. The thing that they don't ever say is, yeah, well, check up, you go this far, there's a sign, they'll tell you to go that way, and the sign. No. And people just rather chat. The mist is shrouding this beautiful set of islands here. I believe I'm a part of what's called the Ring of Kerry in Killarney National Park. On the way to court, to Blarney Castle, and get the gift of gab. Perhaps it will take my breath away. This is Blarney Castle, where we can get the gift of gab. Alright, here are the grounds. Blarney Castle. Here's the castle itself. And we are at the entrance. Right over here. Come into there. There's a rock garden too. And then you get to the castle, which is actually more of a fortified home. And that's where we're going next. And the stone is over there. Beautiful grounds. There's the castle. This is Blarney. That's a nice shot. See some people up there. And then let's pan back or pull out. Here at Blarney Castle. I need the gift of gab. Grounds over here. Coming closer. Whoa. Oh, that wasn't flying. I believe it was built in the 15th century. You can see the fortifications. The windows, arrow loops. A little brighter up top because you don't have to worry about people attacking as high. It's where the church is, you can see. Guard tower. And here's the dungeon. Into the dungeon. I don't have my mag light with me, otherwise I'd go further into the dungeon. It's that way. Entrance 4. Entrance 4. don't need no stinking certificate. Ooh. Dangers exist. Just went sound. And a right-handed spiral stair clockwise, so somebody trying to run up with their sword won't be able to use it. See if I can this with my sword. Ow, see? Archers would come over here. Look at all of you. Just up the staircase. Down this. Here's the Great Hall. It's not as big as you think, is it? Going to the bedroom. This is the little garderobe. In other words, it's the little toilet.
Yeah.
It's the priest room. To your over. Oh, we're not going over on. See these steps. Kitchen. Here are the steps. You can see. It's very narrow. And then we just came from there. The mic resort. Fortifications. Oh, that's a nice crib. And up. Chapel. Alright. You rolling?
Look at it.
Sorry.
Yeah, so there we're rolling. Quackers and myself are going to kiss the Blarney Stone. And scoot back. Hold the bar here. Hold the bar. Thank you, sir. Whew!
All right.
Fantastic, yeah.
So, what'd you think of that, Quackers? Uh-huh. Okay. So, lean back.
Where am I kissing?
You don't want to know.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
That was intense. I feel electricity. That my mind is full of cascading rivulets of drops and storm cloud of ideas. Well, that's pretty eloquent, isn't it? It's worked. Got some merlines here. Finials. So we came up. We're on our way out now. We're gonna go to Kolb and the Rock of Cashel. Here's looking out to the right from before. Thanks again. Aramis here. Here's my arm. Like an elbow. You know, and after extensively working out, I basically have to turn sideways to walk through this. My shoulders are much too broad. Would have been an imposing figure in the Middle Ages. It's a little garden. So, I'll take care of something. Oh my gosh, looks like something might have. This should be it. Oh, really? Okay. Get them close, get rid of the lice. See that? You get an idea of height? And I can reach there. And as you come in, that's the murder hole. It's where they drop the boiling oil on the rocks and whatever they needed to do a job on you. It's the off season, but it looks like I got here just before the tour buses. Now you can see here, Lonely Planet tells us a French council said it gains you the privilege of telling lies for 7 years. Queen Elizabeth I was exasperated with Lord Blarney's ability to talk endlessly without ever actually agreeing to her demands. Who invented the term? It was Queen Elizabeth. The gift of gab. C-O-B-H, pronounced Cove. The Cove of Cork. It was a naval base in the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War, Deepwater Harbor. This is where this Titanic sunk. Not sunk, took off. It is from here the survivors at Lusitania were brought. Furthermore, between 1848 and 1950, 2.5 million adults emigrated through this port. They left in their coffin ships during the famine, overcrowded, unseaworthy, White Star and Cunard lines. 1912. That's where Jack jumped on the Titanic after winning a card game. Right there, in that place. That's where Jack won the card game. Right there. And he got on. This used to be called in Victorian times Queenstown, because this is where Queen Victoria first came and where the first yacht club ever was organized. As you see, the Blarney Stone didn't help me. Furthermore, it's where the convicts, I'll give you some more details right now. Between 1791 and 1853, 39,000 convicts were transported to Australia. People who were they were from theft to murderer. And between 1840 and 1850, 4,000 orphan girls here were sent to Australia from the workhouses to provide mates for the men. And between 1855 and 1914, over 4 million Irish immigrated for a new life, mostly in the U.S. and some in Britain. And they would have an American wake, because most people knew once they went across, they were probably never going to come back. A final parting between the families and friends of the immigrants. 40 million Americans probably claim to some Irish heritage, and over 1/3 of Australia's 19 million people have an Irish heritage. However, further back in time, you can go to the time of Cromwell, where he expelled over 30,000 soldiers and had thousands of civilians transported to the West Indies from here, because once you were in the West Indies, you could be sold as slaves. So the Irish were some of the very first slaves in North America. And in 1691, 20,000 men and families fled to try to get to France rather than be sold as slaves. Being a port city with all the industry around it, they dress it up rather nicely, don't they? On the phone over here, checking on my reservation. Look at, there's the White Star Line. Titanic. Bless you. Look at these lights. Huge.
From the Georgia known DSP bin or something.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
Are there any more bunks left in in Titanic today?
Is there any what?
More room in in Titanic? Can I get on?
Oh yeah, loads.
Oh, that's incredible. I can't wait. I heard she can't sink.
No, thank you very much. Thank you.
It's to the memory of all who perished by the sinking Lusitania and in the cause of universal and everlasting peace or lasting peace. There's Lusitania, Mauritania, Voyager. Yeah, it's capitalizing on its position. Why wouldn't it? Commodore Hotel. And it's called the Queen's Hotel. This is where Victoria made her visit in 1849. It's also where the first Irish coffees supposedly came about with, I believe, air travel, actually. Back there. Welcome to the Kolb Heritage Center. We spent about 30 more minutes here, then we'll break that down. It's Titanic.
Hello.
Almost having started. Here we go. I hear the chorus. John Joseph Theory. Cork priests who in 1818 followed with thousands of Irish men and women were forcibly transported from the Cork Harbor to the penal colonies of Botany Bay and Van Diemen's Land, known as the Felon's Friend. He was their advocate and defender and their advisor. Gave them hope. And one of the founders of the Catholic Church in Australia. This is from the film Far and Away, Serbia. Built in 1881. Came out of here. Those who in this J's class know about Far and Away. You pack your bags. Line. Key. You have the American wake like I described earlier. Oh, good call, believe. Wow. Below deck. See the conditions
What's in there?
weren't sanitary or healthy. The bunks. Dancing. Some left the famine. Irish of Boston sent relief supplies and food to poor suffering from the famine. Initially went to Canada, but ended up into the U.S. Coffin ships. Get there, they're all chained together. This here's that other ship we had earlier. Got some music playing, some dancing. Taking care of the kid. There's an Australian prison ship. That's how they put them together. It was free migration. There wasn't everyone left being prisoners. Some went for gold. The first steamship left here. It's the Cunard and the White Star Lines.
Shall now moo, 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 moo. Paddy power. Paddy power. Just arrived in Cashel, and as you can see, the rock, the fortress of Brian Boru, is coming right up. There it is, the Rock of Cashel. The Rock!
Welcome to the Rock. The Rock of Cashel. Probably a center of Druidic worship. 4th century AD, Cashel was the ceremonial center of kings of Munster. According to legend, it was here that St. Patrick baptized King Agnes. Cromwell desecrated the place. Supposedly Brian Boru was here also. We'll get more info on that. We're on our way to the visitor center of Brian Boru. Okay, breathing. Berks bus. Of course, you might want to take the paddy wagon. Also known as St. Patrick's Rock. Okay, this is all limestone. The abbey up there, as you can see, is roofless. 12th century Romanesque chapel. Symbol of power, base of kings. Cashel is an anglicized version of the word Cashel, meaning fortress. You can see how this would be a perfect fortress site, looking down over the area. For 400 years it rivaled Tara as for power. And supposedly St. Patrick came here and converted King Angus, the 5th century. He accidentally stabbed him in the foot with his crozier, and the king thought that was what you're supposed to do, and he bore it with fortitude, and for now it became known as St. Patrick's Rock. 10th century, the O'Briens get it, under leadership of Brian Boru in 1101. He gave it to the church to stop the Welsh from thinking they could claim it as property because they had never asked the church for it. 1647 it falls to Cromwell, and that's about it. Working our way here, it's getting windy and drizzly. Oh. It's Cormac's Chapel. Just love the audiovisual theater. Nice presentation describing basically the role of friaries and castles and cathedrals, especially during the time of the Middle Ages, and how they became irrelevant near the end of them. Okay, Cormac McCarthy, 1127, Cormac's Chapel. Looks like the tomb. Here's the chapel. One thing to note, that the Irish were conquered by the Normans. Part of the reason why the Normans had armor and they rode with stirrups and the big swords and long shields, the Irish had a disdain for armor. And they didn't have stirrups, so it wasn't much of a fight. These were once all carved heads. Some of them rather grim. Let's give an example of that. And there's some more. Now we're inside this area and you can see some of that. How it would have looked. Little pieces of it still here. See, it's also a cemetery. Died 1767. We're using basically now they're paving stones for us to walk on, I guess. Welcome to the Rock. I'll take swords for 200. It's used as a cemetery today. That's 1966. Alright, toward the back. Tower. Sorry about the lighting. Overlooking the fields. More sheep.
Wait for me, slow.
And fortified walls. Arrow loops. Little kids. Standing. And it is a ruin. Let's be happy it's a ruin. That they don't need such a place.
Rock of Cashel, symbol of power in Ireland for 1,000 years. A rock.
Who's that girl? Arrow loops. This cathedral will replace an earlier structure, which started in Cathedral 1235. Basically, it's a 15th century, 16th century cathedral. It's a large cathedral. There's a nice vaulting. The row of timber stays would have been there and there. Would have come over the top. There's a tomb. Check this out. I don't know the year. We are right here.